guys, and today I'm doing another rebuilding video. I haven't done one in probably 2 months, but anyways, I'm doing a video today and I'm rebuilding the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now first things first, if the first few minutes of this video is in low quality, I'm sorry about that. I had some problem uploading the video or getting the video to my computer, so that's the reason. But anyways, I am doing the Oklahoma City Thunder, and this is because of Kevin Durant leaving. Now I know he left, and many people right now in rebuilding videos are actually doing current day rosters with the help of some other guys' custom rosters, and I think that's a cool idea, but I don't like it too much, especially for my own videos where I'd rather have the current rosters. So let's try to rebuild the Thunder from where they were right before Kevin Durant left, or pretty much before the season. So first things first, I'm trying to get rid of Enes Kanter. I like him a lot, but he has a huge contract, and I just feel like he doesn't fit too well on this Thunder team. There's a lot of good options available that I can get in return for him, and I'm going to try to keep around Westbrook and Durant. That's my main idea, and everyone else is pretty much up for discussion. So right now I'm trading away Enes Kanter for DeAndre Jordan and a Clippers first round pick, which is really surprising I got that trade, but hey, I still got it. So now I'm trading away the shooting guards and Roberson and Waiters to find if there's anything good, and there's still some pretty good stuff here that I can use to build around my team. And I feel like the biggest weakness for the Thunder for their previous team was definitely the shooting guard position, so that's what I'm trying to upgrade right here. And I feel like they had a lot of good bigs that they probably trade for a much better one. So anyways, I traded away those two shooting guards for basically Rodney Hood and Trevor Booker. So I wanted to improve the shooting guard and the big men spot, as I feel like point guard and small forward, they are the two best at that position. Maybe one or two guys are better than them, but the thing is, the shooting guard and power forward were the weaker spots. So right now I'm trading those guys I had before, or traded for before, and Rodney Hood and Trevor Booker for Patrick Patterson and Norman Powell. Now I'm not a fan of the Raptors, but these guys are really fun to use in 2K, and they're really good as well, especially to build around. So now I'm going to try to get rid of a lot of my bench guys who I don't care about. So you might not see all of them, but right here I'm trading with Kyle Singler, who has a way too big contract, for Jeff Withey, a really good young guy who can be something special. Now I'm trading away a lot of my second round picks right here as well, and Mitch McGary is a guy who comes up a lot. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I also don't hate him. I kind of like him, but I find an even better one where I give Anthony Moore on a bunch of pointless second round picks, and in return I end up getting I forgot Monty Eunice. Yes, Monty Eunice. So now at this point, my lineup is point guard would be Westbrook, shooting guard is Norman Powell, small forward is Durant, power forward is, I believe I still have Ibaka, or I think I do. I don't know if I got rid of him or not. If I did get rid of him, I don't remember. But if not, I do have guys in Monty Eunice, who's still pretty special. And at the center spot, I do have DeAndre Jordan. Now, anyways, throughout this, you might notice a little bit difference if you watch my videos before. I'm not fast forwarding the schedule in terms of the regular season. I used to do that, but I felt that now at least it's more consistent, where sometimes before, and as I'm saying this, it's going on a huge lag spike, where it's more fluid, I guess, where it's not like very jumpy as you saw earlier, where before I felt like I had to do that. And also when I do that, sometimes I get lazy in editing, where I will just let it flow all the way, and what's going to happen is it'll sim way too fast through my player stats, because I like looking at those, and some of you guys might like it, so that's why I'm going a little bit slower, more time to talk, and regardless. So anyways, one thing I have to say that really confused me is I don't even know what happened to Serge Ibaka. I don't think I traded him. I don't think I showed you me trading him, but I don't remember him on my team at all throughout the years I was using this team. But anyways, we're having a pretty solid record. We're third in the West, rocking a 28-9 record on a 3-game win streak before we lose to the Blazers, which is a little disheartening, but we're still pretty good. And honestly, that's what the Thunder should have been this year, was one of those top 3 teams, and they were, quite frankly. Well, not even quite frankly, they actually were. They were number 3 seed in the West, and that's what I expected. And I think with some good trades and trying to upgrade their roster to fit their superstars better, they could have easily been the best team in the league. I know the Warriors won 73 games, but I mean, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, which I don't know why, but every time I say his name, I always feel like calling him Westbrook. I don't know why. But anyways, Russell Westbrook and I feel like Kevin Durant, those two guys are better than the Warriors if they have a lot of good pieces around them. And another take on the Warriors, which I like to do a lot, as you can see from some of my videos, especially my like fuck Kevin Durant videos. I made a few of those. Not with that name, but I try to show why Kevin Durant to the Warriors was a bad idea, or why I didn't like it, or why I think people who were supporting it and saying if you don't support this, you're anti-basketball, anti-free agency, I think they're wrong. But anyways, I feel like this team where I build it now is better than the Warriors, even though we just lost to them in the schedule, but we did beat them earlier because of the fact that Durant and Westbrook are once-in-a-generation players, and then you throw in some other guys I picked up in Norman Powell, who's a really good defender, and then other guys as well, such as Monty Eunice, who's a good backup, DeAndre Jordan, who's one of the best rim protectors that we've had in quite a while. I feel like that they can be a very special team. So as we're ending the season, we're on a pretty good streak. We're 16-17, but we're dropping some games. Second in the West, and we finish up the season with a pretty respectable 63-19 record. Now, LeBron wins MVP, which you usually don't see too much. Towns wins Rookie of the Year, nothing surprising. Pekovic for Sixth Man of the Year, who you would almost never see with anything. Defensive Player of the Year is Gobert, Most Improved is McCollum, and Tyronn Lue wins Coach of the Year. So, as we're going on down, Westbrook did make the first team as well as Durant, averaging 22 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals, and some pretty solid shooting numbers. And Durant averaged this is actually LeBron seeing his MVP stats, but Durant averaged about 29, 9, and 8 on 2 steals and 2 blocks, which is pretty good numbers too. And I don't think any of our guys made the third team, which, we had a good enough season. But DeAndre Jordan does make all defensive second team, averaging 11.5 boards and 2 blocks. Some pretty good numbers, but nothing out of the ordinary for him. But anyways, as we're going on over, you can see all the rookie team. Nothing really too surprising in terms of anyone besides maybe TJ McConnell making it, but he always seems to make it. And once again, sorry, this video might get a little jumpy right here because if you don't know, I record with the PS4 remote play or whatever. I don't even know what the feature is called, but the share button. So sometimes it cuts in and out a little bit, which is really annoying. I don't know how to fix that. So it might get a little jumpy, but anyways, you make it to the Western Conference Finals, and this is very, very similar to how this happened in the real NBA, and I was really shocked how it happened. If you look at it here, it was Spurs Thunder versus Golden State Portland, which is what happened in real life, but in this case, actually this is exactly how it happened. Cleveland over Golden State in 7, but Miami didn't make it to the conference finals. That was like the only difference, at least to the conference finals point, I believe. So that was really, really weird. Maybe they kind of knew what was going to happen, but let's go right to the draft. Now, in this draft, I was somewhat of a fan of this draft. I made quite a few videos talking about it, and we have the 27th pick, as you can see down there. And I probably should have fast forwarded this because the draft takes forever. However, we're going to go through it, and I might talk about some of the picks, but at my spot, I was looking for help anywhere I can get it. There's no one really good left at 27. Maybe a guy who I like would be available there. And if there's a guy who I'd like, my guy would probably be Daniel Hamilton because I go to UConn. I made a video about this. And I've seen him a few times at UConn, so why not try to get him on my team? It's kind of funny to think that, well, if you don't know, I'm older than quite a few guys who are in this draft now, which is really weird. But as I keep on just blabbering about whatever, and what's going on the screen, so I don't really know who I'm looking for, as a lot of these guys in this draft, once I get to my spot, aren't that good. Of course, Thon Maker is really fun to use in this game, but he always seems to get picked up way too early, like in the early 20s, late teens. Even though he did get picked 10th in real life, it seemed in most mock drafts he wasn't going to go until the late 20s, but even in this game, he gets picked up fairly early. So that's what always kind of makes me wonder and kind of makes me nervous when it comes to drafting players in 2K16. But anyways, there's other guys I'm looking at for sure. A lot of the big guys like Jakob Poeltl and Domantas Sabonis, who get picked really, really early too, as well as like Deonta Davis and Marquise Chris, but those guys get picked way too early. So I have to lower my expectations. Usually I end up getting someone not really, really good, and there's Marquise Chris going. So I usually end up with I don't know, just a guy for the future, maybe like Jochi, the big 7'2" guy from China, stuff like that. Nothing too special. And Denzel Valentine goes 6 to the Celtics, which is a great fit. I wish that they got him. I'm not a huge Celtics fan, but they're my second favorite team, and I feel like he would be a much better pick at any pick that they had, except maybe 3 where they should have chosen Chris Dunn. And they ended up picking up Dragon Bender too, a guy who I'm not very high on, and especially after watching him in Summer League where he looked really sloppy. But anyways, Celtics make a trade right here for the 8th pick by giving up Avery Bradley, but they also get Pekovic in return, and they end up getting 3 first-round picks in a row to pick up Malik Beasley, who's way too high in this draft. I think in the real life he was like in the 20s, and he wasn't predicted to go in the lottery, but I think if the Celtics want him at 8, whatever. And now the Celtics trade for their 4th first-round pick, 4th in the lottery, where they trade away Jay Crowder for the 9th pick and pick up Chris Dunn, the guy who I really wanted them to get at the 3rd pick. So, well, at least in real life. So that's good for them, because I mean, at any point they could trade him away for something pretty special, as he looked good in Summer League too. And for their 5th pick in a row, they end up selecting Jamal Murray, the combo guard out of Kentucky, who I like a little bit. Of course, he's not a great defensive player, but he does have some good things going for him. Now, Rudy Gay is being traded to the Toronto Raptors. Back, he actually played for them a little bit, and turned the Kings get the 11th pick and pick up Troy Williams, a guy who I've never heard of, which is the most Kings move of all time, where they get a first-round pick and they just absolutely blow it on some guy you never heard of. Sorry if I'm hating on them once again, but I love to hate on the Kings just because it's so easy, and everything that they do in real life is just a huge question mark that no one understands, such as the Georgios Papagiannis pick, where that made no sense. I guess that was just because they couldn't get any prospects into their gym, because I heard that before the draft that they didn't have a top 10 guy come work out for them. They'd all decline it. So yeah, that's very Kingsy. So maybe I might do a Kings rebuild or another one if I've already made one. I don't remember off the top of my head if I made one. But anyways, going back to the draft, Furkan goes to the Dallas Mavericks, and the Indiana Pacers are on the clock, but they end up trading the pick away for Tyson Chandler and the Suns' 14th pick. Or actually, no, I don't even know what I said right there. But regardless, with the 14th pick, Henry Ellison is selected, a guy who I thought would go much higher than he did, where he fell all the way to Detroit. I thought he was going to be like a lottery selection. I think he fell to 18, which I feel like is way too low for him, and he's pretty talented. But Danilo Gallinari gets traded for the 15th pick as the Nuggets go ahead and select, let's see who they select. Danuel House, I never heard of him either. I don't know. Embrace the Pace is the guy who made this draft class. I don't know who a lot of these guys are. Maybe he threw in some random guys. I don't think these guys are random, but maybe he overrated some guys. I'm not too sure, because I didn't hear of 2 of those guys, the Kings guy and that House guy. And Timothé Luwawu ends up going to the Hawks, a guy who I feel like would fit pretty well in their system. Now, Scala Bissier goes 17th, a guy who, I mean, at this spot, Thonmaker almost always gets selected by the Hornets, at least it feels that way. So getting Scala instead, it was a little surprising and a little hopeful for me, because I thought I could get Thon at this point. Now, Jakob Poeltl, a guy who I always try to reach for, he gets selected by the Bucks, a very good fit for him, as the Bucks need a rim protector, so a little upsetting for me. But anyways, Daniel House ends up getting traded away as the Suns, I believe this is the Suns pick, end up selecting Steven Zimmerman, a guy who was picked in the 2nd round this year by, I believe, the Magic, who I haven't seen anything about. Now, I know you guys might think this is very boring, going through the draft, but I love the draft, and some of you guys might like looking at who gets drafted, but who the hell is Brian Forbes? Come on, I don't get this at this point. I don't get some of the guys who are selected. But yeah, I'm sorry if you don't like this at all. But I feel like it's necessary to find out who I get drafted, because I don't know. I feel like if it just skips to right to me, it's like, oh, I select blank. I feel like it'd be a lot weirder than this. So Diamond Stone goes to the Wizards, and my hopes against Sabonis is still alive. I don't remember if I even was aiming for him, but he's always a guy you kind of want to get in this game. I like him a lot. Tyler Ulis from Kentucky goes to the Chicago Bulls, which is good for them. Get a nice backup point guard who looks really solid in Summer League. He had that game winner So yeah, I mean, if summer league is important to you, there you go. Now Deonte Davis goes to the Toronto Raptors, another guy who I always try to target because he's very young and very athletic, and I feel like he can be a pretty solid player in not too long. My bad for coughing in there into the mic, but Damian Jones ends up going to the Trailblazers, a guy who I believe the Warriors selected with the 30th pick. That some compared to Festus Ezeli because he went to Vanderbilt and because of their size. But DeJounte Murray ends up going to the 76ers, which is a great pick for them, especially if this was real life, where they really need a point guard, and he could be a pretty solid point guard as well. Now, Kyle Korver is traded away for the 26th pick. He's getting older, so I'm not too surprised by that. And they end up selecting Taurean Prince, the guy who selected in real life as well. So I'm up on the board, and I'm thinking about who I can get at this spot. There's some guys who I can go for, but there's some home runs as well. So putting that all in my head, I end up selecting Thon Maker. Yes, I know I mentioned some other guys I could have gotten, but Thon Maker is fun to use in this game. That's what I'm going for in draft picks. So I end up picking up Thon Maker right there. He's a 69 overall, nothing too great. And I accept those 2 team options for those 2 players. Now, Monty Eunice has a qualifying offer, so I accept that. And Durant, I am super lucky. He accepts the free agency offer. Little spoiler alert, he will accept it to come back to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Maybe I could have made it more realistic and I would just immediately decline it, but come on, it's Kevin Durant. I don't care if it's realistic or not. I'm going to keep him on my team. Now, going through this, you're going to be wondering what the hell I'm doing, but I had 1 spot left, and I like Giannis Antetokounmpo, so I try to get his brother right here for a cheap contract, just right over $1 million. So I end up signing him, and now I'm throwing some guys to camps. I'm throwing Westbrook to the outside, and I don't really know what else I did, but I'm trying to throw perimeter defense, Durant to perimeter defense, as that's one of his weak spots. But anyways, I'm trading away the bench guys. This is the 2nd season, by the way. Sorry for not really showing you that I went to the next season, but I'm trading away a lot of the guys who are pretty much riding the bench right here to clear up some cap room and some space on my roster. So I trade away a bunch of guys who I would never really use for Brandon Wright, and in return I end up picking up Daniel Hamilton, as I mentioned earlier. UConn fan, so get him back on the team because he actually plays for the Thunder. I think he'll actually play this year, but we're going to the 2nd season. So going about that, I mentioned really quickly, Daniel Hamilton was a 2nd round pick by the Nuggets, but then he was then traded to the Thunder, so he's on the team. I don't know if he's gonna necessarily play or not this year, and if he's gonna play any meaningful minutes, probably not, as he's really raw, I guess is the best way to describe him, besides the fact he's a really good rebounder, but so he needs some time. So I don't know if he's gonna play, but I figured why not put him on the team and maybe he'll put up some good numbers. You never know. So anyways, going on to the 2nd season, we're having a really solid start, 16-5. We end up winning that game against the Wizards to bring us to 17-5, and then 18-5. We're 2nd place in the West, which is really special. And this is when I start to think about when we're going to win a title. Because the thing is, for me, I always figure the first year is just a throwaway year. That's the year that you figure everything out every time I do a rebuild, unless maybe I'm using like the Warriors, who always seem to win it. So the first year is just 100% just a feeler year where I figure out who's going to be good for this team, who's going to be bad, and then from there I make the cut to make the trades, I do whatever, and I make the signings. So I was figuring out what I wanted to do, and I was pretty happy, so I kind of ran it back. I didn't do too much. I mean, I did trade away some guys, but that was mainly for the fact that I wanted more cap room, or not even cap room, but more space on the roster to sign Hamilton. And maybe if I got like a really good trade idea, or I went to the trade simulator, whatever, trade finder, when you get more roster spots, you have more options, because you can accept more contracts and stuff. And plus they got Brandon Wright in return too, who I like Brandon Wright quite a bit. He's a really special player, and he's a modern day center. Of course, he's extremely underweight. I think he's like 210, which is really similar to Bryce Johnson, and that's the guy who I should have picked up in the draft as well. But as I'm rambling on, I like Brandon Wright quite a bit, and he's a pretty solid backup center, and I feel like I'm missing a backup big man now ever since I traded away Steven Adams and Enes Kanter. So anyways, we are at the trade deadline. We just finished the All-Star weekend, and we're 45-12, which is a really, really good record. We did drop to the Suns, which is very unfortunate, but regardless, we are the number 1 seed in the West, something that I don't think the Thunder have ever done. I mean, I don't really remember as far back as to 2012 when they made it to the finals, but I don't think they've ever made it this far, or never been this great of a team in terms of the win-loss. But anyways, we're chugging along to the end of the season. We're at 57-15 right now, 10 games left. Hopefully we can get 67 wins, but it's not so likely. I don't know, I didn't check the Suns teams, but those Suns teams are kicking our asses. I don't know who really developed for them, or they signed someone really good, because the Suns in real life aren't good enough to really destroy the team of my caliber. But we end up finishing the year 65-17. Kevin Durant wins MVP with some really good numbers. Brandon Ingram is Rookie of the Year, who I don't think he'll be Rookie of the Year. Joakim Noah, Defensive Player of the Year, actually Sixth Man of the Year. Bradley Beal for Most Improved, and Nate McMillan for Coach of the Year, which is really funny because Nate McMillan used to be the Blazers coach, but he got fired a few years back. So right here you see Durant averaged 29, 9, and 9, and I think 2 steals and 2 blocks. Some really nice numbers. And Russell Westbrook isn't anywhere to be found on anything at all. DeAndre Jordan, once again, all defensive first team. He averaged 12 rebounds per game. I only saw that really. And Thonmaker didn't make any team, which I'm not surprised by. And we're going up against the Nuggets in the first round, and we are doing pretty well against them. We end up sweeping them. Actually, my bad. I thought we did. I recorded this a while ago, so I forgot about that, but we're going up against the Suns, a team that always gives us a lot of trouble, and I don't know how they beat the Warriors. I know the Warriors weren't that good. They were the 3 seed, but I mean, they end up beating us, the Phoenix Suns. However, a really happy note for me, the Portland Trailblazers win the title 40 years after the last time they did it. No, 39. They won in 1978, I believe. But anyways, yeah, long time for the Blazers, but they finally win another title. So now I'm just going really fast. I'm trying to sign all my guys back. Westbrook, Patrick Patterson, Pat Squared. Giving him a big contract, 30 years. Jeff Withey trying to sign him. He doesn't want to come back. Randy Ford trying to sign him as well. So I have heard all these guys' contracts, and they all accept it. I ended up picking up Jeff Withey and Daniel Hamilton in free agency, as I had some extra space on my team. And once again, I'm throwing my guys into training camps again. And basically the same things as before, which I believe is perimeter shooting for Westbrook, big man offense for DeAndre Jordan, and finally perimeter defense for Kevin Durant. So going on to season 3, I didn't do anything at all in terms of making changes, and we were having a really rough start to the year. We were 1-4 at one point. However, we are on a nice little winning streak, on a 4-game winning streak, to bring our record, well, now 5 to 6-4. So I was actually really nervous. Oh, and right here you're gonna notice some skipping. I'm sorry about that. That was because of the remote play or remote share, whatever the hell it's called, that I mentioned about probably 10 minutes ago. But anyways, as we're simulating this season, I was getting a little nervous because I really didn't want to spend another season, as my general rule of thumb is, if it takes more than 3 seasons, I didn't rebuild the team well enough. I figure if I can rebuild any team in 3 years and under. I haven't done any challenges. I watched some guys do like CSB or 6 Rings of Steel. I actually haven't watched 6 Rings of Steel in a little while, but like I know CSB does that a lot, where he'll do like a no trade finder thing or accept all trades. That would be much harder. I don't know if I'll ever do that, but anyways, as I ramble on, as I always do, what I was saying is, my whole view on this is, if I can't rebuild a team in 3 years, I didn't do a good enough job. So a little spoiler alert, yes, I'm going to win the title this year, but it's pretty exciting in terms of how I got to that point. So right now we're still not having that great of a record. We are second in the West and second in our division, which means I think the Trailblazers are better than us. I don't think anyone else in the Northwest division is that great, if I can really remember off the top of my head in terms of records, because Portland's in that division, but that's all I can really remember. Excuse me. Oh, the Utah Jazz is there too, and the Timberwolves. But as I keep on rambling on, Nuggets too. I have a poster of all the teams, and I just remember that. So still, this is my last attempt at a season. We're still not doing too bad, but we're not doing as well as expected. We are now 40-14, heading into the All-Star break. 39-15, my bad. heading into the All-Star break, and I think that's still pretty good. We are still the 3rd seed in the West, which is a little disheartening, but point in the video, point in this being, is we just have to keep on going and hopefully finish up the year strong and go into the playoffs with a nice little streak and make it to the finals. So anyways, as I'm giving myself a little pep talk right there, we're dropping some games to teams that not really we should not drop to, but some tougher teams in the Spurs and the Heat, but we're making it up, and I don't know how we lost to the Nets. That's an embarrassment, but we're fighting on and we're trying to do well. We are not doing Super Bowl or 15-20, so we got 12 games left to redeem ourselves. Excuse me. And we're finishing up the year right here with 7 games left. Well, as I'm talking, it's shortening down, but 4 games left. We're 58-20, 59-20, 60-20, 61-20, and then we finish up 62-20, which is a lot better than it seemed earlier on. Damian Lillard actually wins MVP, so random guy wins Rookie of the Year, and nothing too surprising anything here. The Portland Trailblazers end up with the same record as us, it looked like, and no one on my team makes the first team, but Westbrook and Durant both make the second team. Westbrook had a pretty down season, but Durant had a pretty solid one, so I think that was good enough to bring us to that high of a seed in the playoffs. I don't think I saw, what's his name, Jordan made a defensive team, which is kind of surprising, but as we're saying that, we're going to be simulating on, and we're going up against the Clippers in the first round as the number 2 seed, and we end up beating them pretty handily in 5 games. Now, this is a little trick that I always do that I never put in my videos before that seems to help me win games a lot more often. What you do is you get a coach and you just do like the reset roster, you do like set minutes, it's the triangle or Y button. And basically if there's any injuries, anyone who's on a hot streak, it'll rebuild the rotation for you to help give them more players, give them more minutes, give them less minutes, and it seems to give me a lot more wins when I'm just simulating. So we're just destroying, and we're making it to the finals versus the Cavaliers. And even though the Thunder and the Cavs have never played in the finals, this is really similar to the Heat teams. Basically it's LeBron versus Durant in the finals, and we're up 3-0. And as you saw right there really quickly while I'm going back to this, it mentioned something about Patrick Patterson needing more minutes or needing less minutes. So we're going to simulate this game, especially through Simcast, so if at any point it gets a little sloppy, I can jump right in, and of course you see the final celebration. So it's just a few minutes left, it's a really close game, and I'm simulating, and we're up 6 with 21 seconds left. So now as we jump into the game, I have the ball with Russell Westbrook, who's going to be my main option right here. So a nice little elevator screen down there gets me the ball wide open, and I'm trying to just dunk it on someone, try to do what LeBron did to Draymond Green. So he was in the bonus, and Westbrook hits his 2 free throws to put it up 8. Now LeBron is just going to go full animal right here, just a nice little step back 3 to make it a 5-point game. And I wasn't nervous, but I was still questioning how did that happen. If I'm cherry picking right here with Durant, that pass always seems to work. Try to hit this 3, it doesn't really work, but Tristan Thompson corrals the rebound, and LeBron tries to go for it, but it doesn't matter, as the Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions for the first time ever. Yes, the Seattle Supersonics did win a title way back, I believe in the 70s, but they don't really acknowledge that in Oklahoma City, so why not get the city of Oklahoma? Well, Oklahoma City, my bad, I tried to be a little crafty right there, it didn't work. A nice title, so everyone's happy, everyone's celebrating. I wish this was at home, because it's really nice to see all the little confetti falling. It looks so much cooler. But once again, just like in 2015, someone wins at the Quicken Loan Center, and it is the road team. In this case, it is the Oklahoma City Thunder beating the Cleveland Cavaliers, sweeping them 4-0, and Russell Westbrook holds up the MVP, or the Larry O'Brien trophy, meaning that he is the finals MVP. So him and Durant are celebrating. You see Brandon Wright back there, you see Monty Eunice. So this is a really special time for them, and I liked making this video quite a bit. This is fun. I know I haven't made a rebuilding video in almost 2 months, or more than 2 months, but I liked it a lot, so I'm going to show you the rosters. In terms of the Cavs, it's pretty similar to modern day. They picked up some other guys, but nothing too special. So Westbrook, Durant, Cameron Payne, Norman Powell, Thon Maker, Patrick Patterson, Donatas Basamunas, DeAndre Jordan, Jeff Withey, Doug McDermott, and Daniel Hamilton, amongst some other guys. You could have paused that video, sorry about that. But anyways, guys, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you watch this far, comment down below, subscribe and share, and it's all heavily appreciated. So thank you guys for watching, and of course, have a good day.